Hello and welcome to episode 131 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is February 16th, and together with Robert and Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So today we come back to one of my favorite topics, Power Platform and SAP. Low-code and SAP is popping up everywhere right now, and it's great to see so many customers adopting the integration of Power Platform with SAP already. As mentioned last week, we also have a roadshow with some cool scenarios coming up in Germany in March and April. In one of our previous sessions, we already mentioned a very cool blog post on LinkedIn by Ronald about an SAP and Power Platform use case for truck compliance. So I'm really happy to have him with us today to talk in more detail about this and other scenarios with him. But as always, before we hand over to him, let's have some fun. And actually, I think everyone at the moment is talking about OpenAI and also Bing. And well, luckily, I got accepted now to Bing. So we thought, what about starting a quick chat with Power Platform and Bing? So we said, well, what can you tell me about Power Platform and SAP? And let's just say, or let's just check where this guides us. Well, actually, I'm surprised. I thought this pop-up would come up, but let me then actually switch over to here to chat. Okay, let me ask again. Oh no, searching for Power Platform and SAP. Okay, it's starting. Power Platform is a set of low-code tools that allows users to build apps, automate processes, and analyze data using SAP data. Okay, now you can see here this. I think this was one of the things that there were some complaints with OpenAI.
Marketing blog, probably.
Yeah. Oh, let me check here. This is from Pankaj.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Okay. So great. So this is already a nice reference of what you do with Power Platform. Then we have, what else do we have here? Okay, we have some information on Learn.
Okay.
Oh, and look, it even continues here. What are the benefits of SAP integration with Power Platform? Let's start. Let's continue the chat here. Searching for benefits of SAP integration with Power Platform. Some of the benefits. Power Virtual Agents. I'm actually a huge fan of Power Virtual Agents because it really simplifies the way how you can integrate in Teams and so on. And then what else do we have? Power Automate, Power BI, Power Apps. Oh, and also Power Platform governance. That's, I think, also a really important topic because in a lot of cases, especially when looking at SAP, everyone is very concerned or interested about shadow IT. How do I monitor my flows? How do I work with the fact that now all of a sudden everyone can build an application and connect to your SAP system? So how do you manage that? How do you control that? So I think that's that's a very interesting or a very important topic here, actually. So and actually, let me quickly try. If I click on this, then okay, SAP and Power Platform better together. There's some event, yeah. Actually, isn't that event that No, that's a training. Okay, this is okay. Apparently, there are some issues. Oh no, wait, this was a non-secure link. Let's quickly do that when I click on details. Oh no, I cannot even continue. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. But I think we already got some nice reasons why SAP and Power Platform makes a lot of sense. But to make this even more real, when we looked at the blog post from Ronald last week, I think, or was it last week or the week before? I think that already raised a lot of interest. And with that, I'm super happy to have Ronald with us today. So Ronald, you brought a few examples, you brought a few demos, but before you go there and show us, maybe you can quickly introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Microsoft.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me here. My name is Ronald. I'm located in Vienna, Austria. I've been with Microsoft now for 1.5 years. I'm a technical specialist for our ERP, finance and supply chain, and for the Power Platform. Before I was at Microsoft, I was an SAP consultant, a functional consultant for the sales, procurement, and warehouse management modules. So I have now the capabilities to build the bridge between Microsoft and SAP very well. And
Perfect.
before all the IT stuff, I was a business user. So I worked with SAP as a business user. I felt sometimes the pain and what are the challenges. Yeah, and now with the Power Platform, I feel enabled really to quickly bring value to SAP users as well as to Microsoft users.
But that's really cool. So you're really coming from the business side. So you're not an IT guy. You were not a developer or something like that. But you're really coming from the business, from the functional side, and now you learned how to work with Power Platform, and you can use this to integrate with SAP.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was a business user and I had a lot of ideas, and I went to the IT department and said, hey, can we import this? Can I add this information somewhere? And sometimes, or the majority of my ideas were like, now it's nice to have features. So it's too expensive to develop it inside the ERP. We have no budget. We have no resources to implement it. So and I think now with the Power Platform, it's really easy to bring ideas into life without harming the SAP core. This is really important because with the Power Platform, it's like a side-by-side extension. We do not enhance a table in SAP, or we build something directly in the core. So we just consume data and we write data back by using official APIs like function modules, BAPIs. And so we fully are compliant with SAP standard here.
And I think what you just said, that is for me one of the most important things. You have an idea, you come from the business, you have an idea, and it's probably not like a huge change for the whole organization, but it might be something really relevant just for you. But then finding a developer who can help you, finding SAP IT. I mean, IT, especially right now, SAP IT is very busy with the whole S/4HANA transformation. So they have really big projects. So they are very busy. So to address your concern, I can understand that they don't have resources to do that. So yeah, you're left on your own basically. And with the help of the Power Platform, and especially obviously in your case, since you know what a BAPI is, since you know how to connect an SAP system, it's probably even easier for you.
Absolutely.
But it now really empowers you to build this application. I think that's something that I find really interesting.
It's true, and when I was SAP consultant, or I was a functional consultant, so of course I played with user exits and small enhancements. But the big things, I needed a developer, so I did the functional specification, and so ping pong until it worked. And and you know, I've never developed a Fiori app. It was too much for me. So and now with the Power Platform, so really I'm not a super developer, but the apps what I built, they bring value, and I help myself. So
that is so cool.
It was not required to have a developer here. Of course, as you said, you need to understand SAP. So it's not like that everybody can now make an extension to SAP. You need to understand in which table the things are, which function module you can use. So, but at the end of the day, I think also a professional developer can do much more in less time with the Power Platform.
Yeah, or also just to throw in another buzzword, I mean, these fusion teams, maybe you could be the link now. You're the one who knows SAP good enough, or Power Platform and SAP good enough to help make this initial connection. And then potentially you could have the connector that retrieves accounts, or that retrieves material information, or surfaces purchase orders. And then others could start to consume the very same services that you just exposed, but build additional applications. Maybe you just build an app, a Power App, and they use Power Virtual Agents to build an integration in Teams or something like that. So then we are already talking about this fusion of teams. It doesn't have to be always the really pro developer working with an end user, but it can also be someone like you who has a functional understanding of this scenario, and then helping others who just need to, well, how do I get purchase orders? Well, here's the connector. Now do whatever you like in Teams or whatever.
Exactly. And what I also like is the concept of this low-code, no-code with these pre-built connectors, not only SAP connectors. So the Power Platform has more than, I think, 1,000 connectors already. the beauty of this solution is that you can connect a lot of applications without interface programming. So this is not important anymore. So I can grab data from SAP, then I can enrich them, but the data is stored maybe in Dataverse. I can use SharePoint for the archive. I can use the Outlook connector to send emails, and I can send a notification to Teams, and without any programming here. So this is quite nice to create collaborative solutions.
Perfect.
Ronald, if I'm, for example, like you, so and coming from this business for functional programming perspective from SAP, and I ask you, okay, so how much time I should invest in this Power Platform to be able to create first application? What's your answer? What is your feeling? How much time someone like before you, old Ronald, need to spend to learn that?
Yeah, actually, it is quite fast because there are these Power App in a Day workshops. So you can consume it every time you like. And it is a guided process where you can really, you see the description, you do it free of charge in the developer environment. And I think you are ready to go in 1, 2, 3 days, really, to have the basics of the Power App. And then when you get in contact with the SAP connector, you invest another 1 or 2 days, and then you are good to go, because there is nothing more. So I don't want to, it's simple. So we have this SAP connector, and we consume data and we send that data back by using function modules. So, and if you understand the function module in SAP, then you're super. So let's say in that way, an ABAP developer, it's a piece of cake for them. For me, for example, I needed to, for example, update a shipment in SAP. So I needed to check in SE37 the documentation of this BAPI. And okay, there you need to have a U, there you need to have an X, and so on. So that the function module is working. But as I said, ABAP King, it's easy for them.
Okay, great.
Well, one more thing, Ronald, before we go in your presentation, and then before joining Microsoft, did you already do something with Power Platform, or was it the first time that you joined that you worked with Power Platform when you joined Microsoft?
Actually, I did nothing really with Power Platform. At SAP, we had access to Power Platform, and then I did a demo with this Excel app where Excel is my data source, and I was really surprised about this. Wow, the app is now on my mobile phone, and I'm not an app developer, but yeah, it was just playing. But I really started investigating in more detail at Microsoft then. Because Power Platform is in every product more or less now from us. So I'm actually the ERP consultant now, but we use Power Platform for extending our own solutions.
Yeah, that's really cool. Great. So you prepared some slides. Let's take a look at the slides.
Share my screen.
Yeah, perfect.
So really a little theory and the motivation behind. So this is not really SAP, it's not targeting only SAP, it's targeting every ERP solution. You know, we have in an ERP a lot of standard functionality, which we maybe don't need. And then there are all the time the requirements from the business users. And this is exactly where we see the Power Platform as a good fit. Because the Power Platform is so-called side-by-side extension to SAP. So we just let me show you this slide. So SAP has this clean core methodology, where this is a slide from SAP. You see the source at the top right. SAP says make your core clean. This means use the standard code, use standard APIs, use the data fields for the purpose of the data field. And never do modification. So this is nothing new. You should have never done it. But the clean core means just let the core as it is and extend it as a side-by-side. And the Power Platform exactly fulfills all this. So we do not modify or we do not extend directly the ERP core. We just consume data and we send data back by the official APIs. And what it makes good in this term is if the solution what you build on top of SAP has no value anymore, then yeah, you delete it.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. When I remember back when we extended SAP in the past, it was okay. I need to do a Z table. I need to do a table append and so on. And then after 1 year, maybe you don't need it anymore, but you are really shy. Can I delete it? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there is the message when you extend an ERP system, with every additional extension, the system gets more complex. And yeah, and now many customers have this challenge to sort out, do I need this extension also in the future, or can I remove it, and so on. And with this Power Platform, it doesn't harm if you delete the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, and when I come to the business challenges, this we just discussed. So we have, or the business user has a lot of good ideas, but we have these time constraints, the budget constraints, and as well for the customers who are still on ECC, there is this the technology constraint a little bit, because if you want to have a mobile solution, the SAP GUI does not offer this for now. So now let me come back to my my truck compliance use case. So this is a real world scenario, because I worked in a paper mill, and I was in the logistics department, and paper reels, they need to have a good truck. The condition of the truck must be very good. No, they should not be wet. It should not have a smell of the truck, and so on. And what we did in the past was they used manual checklists. So they have this. You see, here, sorry, I have a pointer here. So we have this manual checklist, and with this manual checklist, we added then the SAP delivery number. Then the forklift driver needed to check if everything is good or bad. Then we needed to take pictures of the truck, and the pictures are then stored somewhere on a network drive, maybe. And at the end of the day, you need to put it into the archive manually. This was the one thing, and the other thing was the loading aids. So you need to exchange pellets, the loading strips, the edge protectors. So this was also done in an Excel file. So a lot of manual paperwork, and I thought this is a good example for a Power App, because what I need is I need data from SAP. I need only the planned deliveries or the planned shipments, whatever you are planning in SAP. And then based on this Power App, what I built, you can execute the check directly on the tablet. Then you make the pictures directly with the tablet, and you record how many pallets have been given to the driver. And at the end of the day, both the forklift driver and the truck driver, they sign on the tablet, so that they confirm that the cargo was secured conform. Yeah, and I show this you indirectly in the system. So as I said, actually it is built for a tablet, but now it's easier to demonstrate it directly on the screen. So what this app is doing is, I choose a shipping point, so same as an SAP, and the planned delivery dates. And when I click on my refresh button, in the background, a flow is running and contacts SAP and says, give me from the LIKP table, there's the delivery header, give me the planned deliveries. And now the forklift driver selects the delivery, clicks on the plus, and now the checklist could look like everything. I just edit this. Everything is good here. Dry floor, no order, and how many edge protectors were given from them, from us, and so on. So really, this is it could look like everything. So depending on the business requirement, and you can add your observations. And then next step is I click on take pictures. Then of course I use the capabilities of my mobile device. Yeah. So, and here I have something like this. I can add pictures, remove it immediately here. Then I come to the signature directly on the tablet, I sign it, and I complete. And what's happening in the background is that the checklist is stored on Dataverse. I do not send something to SAP back, because I see no reason for doing this, because SAP does not work, or no business process, no subsequent business process works with this checklist data. As a result, I can leave it directly in the Power Platform on Dataverse. The pictures I store on SharePoint because it's cheap. It's included in our licenses and in many licenses. And and that's it. So I just consume the delivery numbers from SAP. I do not store anything in the cloud, there's no requirement to synchronize tables into the Power Platform. So it's just data on the fly in the app.
Cool.
So this yep.
Sorry, no, but I really liked it. But just to extend this, theoretically, you could obviously write something back in the SAP system if you want to update a status, or if you want to link to the pictures that were taken and now stored in SharePoint or something like that. You just in your specific scenario, because there is nothing that needs to be done in the SAP system. That's why you just retrieved the initial information and did not write anything back there.
Exactly. So there are, of course, many other scenarios where I say, when we complete the checklist, I post goods issue in SAP, or I set the shipment status in SAP. And in SAP, then the document printing is triggered. So everything is possible. So everything what you can do with a function module, and I think this is everything in SAP, you can trigger with the Power Platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, when I close this scenario, it is I can also use your post return of the loading equipment. So the truck driver 1 week later comes and says, here are the pallets what I borrowed, and this is so I substitute the Excel here. So because I have everything in one place, and here I use the balance, and yeah, piece of cake. And then here you can also extend like mail balance to the customer or to the forwarding agent, whatever. So this is just one use case where I say this is done in 1 day without the developer. If you have a developer, maybe it looks better, but it solves a real world problem. So let's say it is cheap. It is quickly realizable. I do not touch SAP here. So if the solution does not work anymore, no demand anymore, remove it. Another use case. Yeah.
Sorry, just one quickly, because you just mentioned that this is something that you would typically have in Excel, this sheet here, something. And obviously Excel means, Excel is not really touch friendly. So you would need a real PC or something like that with a keyboard. Here you have all the information in a very touch friendly app, basically. So this can easily run on a tablet. You have all the relevant information, and you can just work from there. So I think this is also a really nice use case, because but when we talk about SAP, every SAP customer has Excel somewhere. I think most likely every process somewhere involves Excel, and for Excel, you need a rich client basically. But here you're retrieving or fetching the relevant information that might be stored in a big Excel table. You make it available in a beautiful user interface, and now you can also use this on the go on your tablet. So I think that's a really nice scenario.
Yeah, and another use case for this, or an additional use case for the same use case, is I noticed also from the past. So if the forwarding agency does not return the pallets, so 1-2 months later, they need to get an invoice for this. And this is done then maybe with an FI invoice in SAP, or with a Word invoice and something like strange things. You can also trigger here the invoice creation. So click the button, and we call a BAPI in SAP to create the FI invoice. So everything is possible here.
Nice, yeah.
Good. The other use case what I prepared is this is also in relation with trucks. So let's imagine you have a limited capacity for your loading base, and one day there could be 20 trucks, and it would be a bad thing when everybody arrives at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, and as a result, you need to plan your loading base so that they are 1 at 8, 1 at 9, and so on. So here there could be a standard solution in SAP. So they have SAP Yard Management, but it's a very big solution, and maybe it's too much for this little requirement. And here my idea was also I make a tool where we can see the capacity of the loading base, and one person, so like the procurement guy, books the time slot for the with the vendor, with the forwarding agent, and then the app can also be used for the gate when the truck arrives, because the gate then sees, okay, you are planned for bay 2 or bay 3. And another persona would be the warehouse worker. They use the same app. They see, okay, the truck has checked in, so it is ready to offload. And this forklift driver or a worker can also then communicate the goods receipt in SAP. It's possible, and also communicate pictures from the delivery node for quality certificates, whatever the truck has on. It can be immediately. You can take a picture with the mobile device and send it to the procurement guy. So I'd show this to you also directly in the system. I have prepared this here. So this is you see, I use Teams, yeah, and I call the Power App directly in Teams. So the procurement guy sees here the planned purchase orders, and when they click on this purchase order, they see it's already booked, and I marked it in blue, so it is booked on the bay 1 at 10. And there is also another posting on this day. So this is the next one. So see now this is blue. And this is everything done with Excel-like formulas. So no coding. It's like a if or something like this. So when you know how to do a lookup in Excel, then you can build this.
Or so you can even now use ChatGPT and similar. They're
exactly,
text to formula stuff, and that's actually also something that I really like about the Power Platform. This embedded integration of AI services. So where you can, what I'm always struggling is these regular expressions. Like you have a certain format and you want to change it to something different. And now in Power Platform you can just provide a few examples, and then it tries to convert this into the actual formula. So you don't even need to know how this is done in Excel. You can just do it by explaining what you want to have, and then it helps you translate that.
True. Yeah, I have so many videos already on LinkedIn, so where they show this, hey, I ask ChatGPT, and they get exactly the formula what is required to have this format.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this use case is like, so the one persona booked the time slot, and now I can switch role and the gate. And the guy or the person from the gate see these are the expected arrivals. When by clicking on check-in, you see now it's on the yard. And when I click on the worker view, the worker sees, okay, those trucks are already here. They can, you see also special instructions from the procurement, like please send me the packing list as soon as possible. So just imagine the guy from the warehouse has again a tablet. They can then easily attach pictures with the camera or the camera, and then they can do the start and do the end, and just means behind every button. So this is now quite simple. It's just changing the status here on the Power App, but I could also trigger something in SAP again.
Yeah.
So like posting goods issue, posting goods receipt in this case, or printing any documents. So this was something like where yard management could be done also in a short term. And another thing, what I really want to highlight is not in relation now with Power Apps, but with generally with the Power Platform. So I have one use case. This is also a real world scenario. In my previous job, so there were many trucks a day, and at the end of the day, you receive this CMR, this consignment letter. And you needed to update some data in the ERP that it was done. And in addition, you need to archive this document. Yeah, and what I did here is I created an AI model with the AI builder where I pushed 5 documents, so 5 examples of this letter to the AI builder and said, please extract the delivery number and the delivery date or the collection date from this document, and give this information then to SAP to update something, calling a function module, and in addition store this document on the SharePoint. So I eliminate the whole manual process. So what I just needed to do is I take the 20 letters at the end of the day, go to the scanner, scan everything, send this to an email. I created here a shared mailbox. What is the trigger of the flow? So when the shared mailbox receives the 20 PDFs, then the flow starts. And it looks like, so this is the AI builder. So just to show it, it's really a no-code experience. So you upload an example and you just mark what is the data, what is important for you. And the AI builder creates the AI model for you. Yeah, and the flow looks like this. So at the top, we have, better I show this directly in the system. because then we see it better. So this is this one. So there is the trigger. So when a new email arrives, I have here my shared mailbox. And then I need two supporting variables. They are empty. It's just that SAP needs an integer later. But then here is the logic. So I have a loop here. So for all attachments, what I receive from the email, I send these attachments to the AI builder. Here I say, this is my AI model, what I trained before with these 5 examples. And this step extracts exactly the information what I need from these letters. And then I have here a condition where I ask what is the confidence level of the extraction. So maybe it's, and if it's good, so if it's more than 80%, then I continue here. And what I do here, I build the timestamp, because in the SAP function module, you need to have a timestamp for this call. And then this is the SAP action. Here I call the BAPI shipment change. And this is then where we just talked before. You need to understand ABAP a little bit to know how that there is a C, there is a X, and so on. But it's the same view as in the SE37, just a little bit different. So here I call the function module to update the shipment in SAP. And on the other hand, I connect with a SharePoint where I say, store this attachment, this PDF on this in this folder. So a fully automated process. And it's also monitored. So in case the confidence is not good, I have also this, if there is a problem with the flow, you can get notified here via email, for example. Here I write if the confidence is too low, then hey, please check this attachment manually and update SAP manually. So you have this error handling also. You can really do clean solutions. But this is a little bit the thing what I want to add. So the Power Platform enables you to do everything very quickly. But when you touch the ERP, you should think twice, because there are certain mistakes. There can happen a lot, but everything is you can realize the same as in SAP, from my point of view.
No, and I think as you started in the very beginning to talk about these side-by-side extensions. So you're not really interfering with standard SAP processes. You're really just extending them or enhancing them in specific ways. And to just additional remarks to the flow that you have here. First of all, when it comes to this RFC, to the BAPI connector or RFC connector, that's exactly what I do. I first go to SE37, test everything that I have an understanding of the BAPI, that it's really working, that the function module is really working, that I have all the properties lined up. And then I do the same thing basically in Power Platform. So it's really just what is there in SAP. Let's copy and paste it basically over in the Power Platform, and that always helps me. Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. Yeah. So I tested on the left-hand side basically. Once I know it's working, then I do more or less the very same thing on the Power Platform side.
Exactly. So, and what I want to highlight here on this screenshot is we have this, when you call a BAPI and you do an update in SAP, you need this BAPI commit afterwards. And we have this function here, auto commit. So quite easy to post something. And maybe not everybody is aware about the capability about this connector. It's not only possible that you use standard BAPIs from SAP. We can also use your custom BAPIs, your own BAPIs. And when I have, for example, one where I create a notification in SAP, a maintenance notification. And this in ABAP is a little bit tricky because you need to call actually here 3 BAPIs. So the notification create, notification save, and so on. So what I did, I just put everything together in one set BAPI. And I call this set BAPI with the Power Platform. So it's really easy.
Nice.
And,
yeah.
And then just the last thing here is what you see on the flow here is, so I connect a lot of different things. So I have this Dataverse. So if something happens in this Dataverse table, in this case, I get an IoT alert from my machine. Then I create a maintenance notification in SAP. And in addition, I call Microsoft, the Microsoft Teams, to push here a notification here. So, hey, IoT alert, a notification, SAP was created, go on and solve the problem.
Cool. And actually, that was exactly the point that I wanted to also highlight for your other example. Like when the confidence is not high enough in the AI builder, then you could very easily do this integration in Teams, for example. I mean, right now you're sending an email, but potentially you could send the an adaptive card into Teams and then
Exactly.
suggest, look, these are the values that I think might be correct because that's what the AI builder extracted. And then you might have a approve reject button in Teams. So,
Exactly.
so that it's automatically that it's really just one more click and then the process continues. And that's for me really the real power of the Power Platform, that all these integrations in Teams, in Office, in third-party products, in SAP, that's really something that's so easy to accomplish that, yeah, just putting these different things together, that's where you get a lot of value out of it.
That's true. This is really what I also said before. So connecting different applications. So every application has its power. And when I say, oh, I have the requirement to chat something, so I connect it with Teams. I need to have a file archive. I use SharePoint. Outlook connectors. It's quite easy to connect everything. Or I connect to Salesforce. I don't know. So everything is possible here.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, actually, this is the majority. This was the majority of my slides. So there are so many use cases. So the one word I just said with this maintenance notification, build your own app, connect it with IoT, whatever. You have the capability with this document processing with the AI builder. It's not only that I use my delivery node. You can also have purchase orders scanned or sales orders scanned, whatever. You extract it and if the process is simple. So really, we need to be realistic here. So it's not that you can automate everything where when you have a complex sales order, like with variant configuration and so on. So you would break your fingers to develop this. But if you have standard processes and they repeat all the time, there is a lot of potential to make it easier and automate it.
Yeah, and for me, it's this combination. I mean, there will always be these bigger IT projects where a lot of developers spend months to really build a beautiful application using SAP Fiori, using other languages, and that will not go away. But then these are like, I mean, depending on the company, maybe these are 10 apps or 100 apps or whatever. But then there are these thousands or maybe millions of very small apps that again might not be so beneficial for the company overall, but that are really beneficial for myself or for my team or something like that. And I think these are, in a lot of cases, lost opportunities where then the users just say, well, okay, it cannot be done. So they continue frustrated in their daily work. But now, potentially with the Power Platform, we give them a tool that can enable them to address at least some of these applications. And I think that's again,
True.
for me, one of the huge benefits.
True. And one thing is also, this is a little bit strange, but I think it's realistic. So there are certain requirements from business users where there is a standard functionality in the ERP available. So, for example, quality checks, yeah, or you wanna create claims for a sales order. You would have the QM module for this, but sometimes it's too much. Yeah, they just want to create a claim, but they don't want to activate the whole QM module with all the customizing. So at the end of the day, they remain in Excel with this. And here, for example, I have also prepared. So there is I have another app, for example, for quality checks. So the idea is just to have to make small checks, but without the power of the QM. So I really suggest use the standard wherever is possible. But sometimes it's too heavy. And with this app, for example, I just consume again data from SAP. So in this case, sales order data. And the sales order data is then represented to the quality clerk, and the quality clerk can create inspection lots for this. So actually, this should run already.
No, I think that's really also something that I very much like. Maybe there is an SAP Fiori screen, or maybe there is already an application for that, and maybe Robert is super happy with that, for example, with this specific application. But maybe in my daily task, I only need 3 of these features. So for me to build an app on this existing app, I mean, I can leverage all the APIs that are there in the full-fledged app, but I will only use the APIs and expose the data that is relevant for me. Similarly, you could build another app that accesses the very same data port. So the single source of truth of the SAP system is still there, but you extract a different set of data, and you are happy with your app. I am happy then with my app, and Robert with his full-fledged app is also happy. And I think, again, that's for me this huge scalability options that we have now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and in this case again, so I consume data from SAP, but I do not change that them. And here I see, okay, I have a delivery block in the header. This is Z1 delivery block. We need to check it. Yeah, it's in German for German demo. Actually for my master thesis. And then here you see I have sales order details from the item. Then I see a product specification, everything in Dataverse. So because I do not use here the QM module, in this case, I say there are two things I need to check. Then I click on create an inspection lot. I insert my data, whatever. And then we see here when I save, I need a special release. And now what I like again of the Power Platform is, so I start a workflow. So request approval. In the background, the Power Automate approval flow starts running, and it should happen immediately here. If either in Outlook, of course, or directly in Teams, I get a notification that something needs to be checked. And yeah, here it is.
Ah, there it is. Nice.
And here, and I consume again data from the SAP and also from the things what I added in the app. And here's I need a special release, and everything is good. I approve, and then when this is approved, so it's approved, it's good. Now I go back to my Teams, and so something here. Something was there. So I think it was this one. Just let me check. No. And here it's released, and no, so yeah, it's closed. It's still blocked in SAP. And what I can do here, I can release this SAP sales order. So what I do, I just call a BAPI to remove the delivery block from the sales order header. And now the function module is called, and then I should receive the message from SAP that everything is good or not. And yeah, sales order was successfully released. Nice. Yeah. And I think it was this sales order. And when we just check what happens here in the background is, so here this one. So this is my SAP system. It's a S/4HANA 2020, and inside the sales order, I see on the shipping tab, the delivery block is initialized. But when I go to my changes, I see that it is fully tracked who did it. So this is my S4H SD user. So it was initialized. And if I would not have the authorization in SAP to do this with my user, I would fail at all. So we cannot surround SAP authorizations. So this is fully compliant. Everything what you do in the Power App is also visible then who did it in SAP.
Yeah, that's maybe really coming back to the very beginning where we talked about governance, security, monitoring. I think that is really a beautiful extension of the SAP process.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, great. Ronald, I think these were some fantastic demos, even more than we had originally planned. So that's perfect.
Yeah, my pleasure that I had the word here, and yeah, I'm very looking forward about the future developments in this area, because last year we bought this clear software, and this is now in GA, but I know there is more to come. So really curious about the development in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were lucky enough to have John Gilman already on the show, where he talked about the latest development, and where he also provided some outlook. But exactly like you said, I'm also really looking forward to the additional new things that will come. Great, Ronald. thank you so much for your demo.
Thank you.
I'm sure with the pace of beautiful applications that you're developing, I'm sure, or I hope that we can see you again on the podcast when you have some additional cool scenarios. And until then, well, yeah, thank you so much, and keep creating some cool scenarios.
Thank you. Well, a pleasure for me.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.